1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 paces. DJI might be best known for their drones or maybe even their camera gimbals. But this is the DJI Mic, a wireless lab system. And for a solo creator, this might be DJI's most useful product. Yo, what's going on everybody? My name is Kofuzi and I'm a solo running YouTuber, and today I'm going to tell you about the DJI Wireless Lab. I've got it mic'd up right now, connected to my Sony a6100 with my telephoto lens on. I am about 22 paces away from the camera while I'm sitting here in New Wine Park in Dubuque County, Iowa. Now, before I give you my thoughts on this wireless lab system and how I've been using it and how I think it does, I do want to go over some disclosures. This is a wireless lab system that I bought myself. No one sent it to me. No one's paying me to make this video, and no one's going to get a chance to preview any of my footage or my thoughts before you guys get a chance to see this video on YouTube. So with that disclosure out of the way, let's talk about the DJI Mic. Now, I think before I get too much further into the details about this wireless lab system, I think that I need to give you guys some context on the kinds of things that I shoot and the way that I would use a wireless microphone system like this. I'm a running YouTuber. I do mainly shoe reviews, so I do use a GoPro quite a bit to capture B-roll footage of my feet, but I also do a lot of video filming, vlog type filming at running events where I'm filming other people, or I might be doing interviews with other people. That's an area where I might be able to use a microphone to really improve the quality of video content that I'm creating. Now that we've taken care of the context, let's go into some of the specs of the DJI Wireless Lab. Now with this system, you're getting the receiver that for me right now, I have it sitting on top of my Sony a6100, and it sits in the cold shoe with a 3.5mm jack attachment connecting it to the camera. Now that receiver can talk to up to 2 of the DJI mics that come in the kit, and those 2 mics sit inside a case with the receiver that charges all 3 of those items whenever you're not using them. The case has its own battery and it's rechargeable by USB-C. Now on each of these receivers, they attach either by a little clip, so you could attach it to a shirt collar like I have here, or there's even magnets, which I think are really convenient, which you can use to then put behind the clothes and then use the magnet to attach the microphone on top of the clothes. Now these wireless receiver and microphones come with little tiny wind muffs that you can screw on and attach. You don't need a tool or anything to attach them. They're just kind of twist on, but once they're on there, they're really nice and secure. They also have jacks for 3.5mm audio plugs. So if you want to attach a wired lav to it, something that's even smaller, you can use this basically as a transmitter to transmit a wired lav to a remote receiver that's on your camera. And you could do that with 2 different lavs that way. So that's another option for you. They also have internal recording, up to 14 hours of internal recording. And the way I've been using that is to use this as kind of like a headless system. So just as using this as a remote recorder. So sometimes I don't connect it to the receiver, and sometimes when I'm using it with my GoPro, I'll just use it as secondary audio in case the GoPro audio isn't going to work out for me. And you can record it directly onto the device, connect it by USB-C to your laptop, and you can pull the files off as if it were just a little thumb drive or other type of external drive. Now, as far as the receiver goes, it has a 250-meter distance, which I haven't really done that kind of extremely long testing with it, but I have used it in a situation like this when I've got my long lens on it, whether it's completely as far as my lens will go. This is a 350mm lens on an APS-C sensor, and I'm sitting, 22 paces or so away from it, or I've used it when I've had that that zoomed in at 70 millimeters, and I didn't have to worry about whether that's too far away from a shotgun mic. So now we've gone over some of the basic specs for these two microphones. Let's go into how I've been using it and what I think about the product. So the main way that I've been using it is for interviews. So whenever I've been going to a lot of the events that I've been attending over the last several months that I've had the DJI Mic, I've been always packing this in the bag. It compacts down really nicely. It doesn't take up too much space. And I find myself bringing this in any situation where I might otherwise bring a shotgun mic. And because it is so much smaller and easier to carry, and the case is like a hard case versus some of the softer cases of the shotgun mics, I just feel like it's a little bit easier to just like shove in a bag and I don't have to worry about it. And the nice thing is, because it comes with two receivers, I can have myself mic'd up as if I'm talking to someone else, or I can mic up two different people if I were simply being the cameraman and recording an interview between two other people. So that's a really nice thing to have for something that's smaller than the size of like the case for my shotgun mic, that I could have a little bit of extra flexibility in terms of what I'm able to record and how many people I'm able to get good audio from. The other thing that I really appreciate about this system is that in addition to the clip, they do have that magnet system. So some of the athletes that I had interviewed that week had jackets on, and sometimes they were zipped all the way up, and it would have been very difficult to do a clip-on lab, but because I had the magnet, I could have them keep their jackets kind of zipped up to the way that however they wanted to wear their jacket, and put the mic in a place where I could still get a solid audio signal. I will say overall, I don't think that like the audio quality is quite as like robust and full as if you're standing like very close to a shotgun mic, or certainly not if you're standing close to like a podcasting microphone. But I do feel like for those situations where I do want a little bit more flexibility in the shot, it's a very easy trade-off for me to make. The fact that it's not like, you know, studio mic quality is okay, because the portability is there and it lets me get the shots that I want and really good audio to back it up. I've even been using it in lieu of bringing a separate microphone that I want to do voiceovers with. So like if I'm on the road and I'm traveling, a lot of times I will do a little bit of voiceover work as I'm, you know, starting to compile and put together my videos from the weekends when I'm doing a lot of shooting. And I've just been using this because it has a way of connecting either to USB-C device or a lightning port. And so I've been just plugging the USB-C attachment to the receiver, plugging it into my MacBook, and then I just use this as a little mini travel studio mic. Again, it's not quite as good as my podcasting microphone or the ones that I use for a live stream, but I feel like it does a pretty good job. I even did a voiceover while at the terminal at an airport, and it was pretty noisy. I feel like if you listen really carefully, you could hear it, but I felt like for the most part, it got the job done, and I was able to get the voiceover that I needed. I didn't need a ton of voiceover, maybe like 12 seconds or so. So for that little bit, it enabled me to kind of like get that down, so that way on my next flight, I could continue working without having to put in kind of like a filler voiceover that I then had to go back and record later. I've even been using a little bit to kind of replace the audio that's coming from the GoPro. Now I think that the GoPro's audio is probably one of its most underrated features, and I think it usually does a really fantastic job. So I very rarely find myself wanting to supplement the audio that comes out of the GoPro, especially because I do think that its wind rejection is really, really good. But there are certain situations when I'm vlogging and it's very noisy, like ambient noisy, not noisy like there's like a loud clanging sound, but like when it's just like ambiently noisy, I do feel like the GoPro picks up a lot of that ambient sound. And so when I feel like I'm going to be in those kinds of situations, like if I'm going to be by a busy road, for example, or near some kind of like a work construction zone, that's where I feel like I might want to be able to have this on, so that way I can record it, just separately recording it without it transmitting to anything, have a separate audio track, and then sync that to the GoPro footage and get a little bit better of audio quality for those times when I'm using the GoPro as my main shooter. All right, guys, trying something new today, a couple of new things. Got a external mic, and try that out. It is wireless. Hopefully the quality is gonna be a little better than what the GoPro can provide. And I think I'm gonna need it because it's gonna be noisy where I'm going. All right, guys, trying something new today, a couple of new things. Got a external mic, gonna try that out. It is wireless. Hopefully the quality is gonna be a little better than what the GoPro can provide. And I think I'm gonna need it because it's gonna be noisy where I'm going. So it gives me a couple of different options that I can use the one device, this one purchase, and use it as kind of like a travel studio mic, as my interview setup, and also as a better external audio source for when I'm vlogging as well. So I've been absolutely loving this. I loved it so much, in fact, that not only did I buy it once, but I bought it twice. At some point during my Eugene trip up to go cover the World Championships, I lost my DJI mic. Fortunately, I had already like recorded everything that I needed to record audio-wise and interview-wise, but like when I went to go look for it on the next trip that I went on, it wasn't there anymore. So I did order a second one. This is my second one that I've ordered, so it's good enough to buy 2 times. So I feel like that's pretty much as big a seal of an approval that I can give as a solo creator. So those are my thoughts on the DJI mic. I've been using it for a couple of weeks now, maybe a couple of months now. If you have any other questions about it, put them in the comments down below. I'd love to talk to you down there. Or better yet, stop by the live stream that I do Monday through Friday. You can always talk to me in the chat. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. Hopefully you guys are staying safe out there on whatever you're shooting and wherever you're running. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Yo, what's going on?